What's up, Bowman baseball card fans? Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax with Prospect Hot Sheet number 5. This is the 5th segment of the 2024 minor league season, and I do these episodes every 2 weeks, so if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe. This is going to be a breakdown of the hottest prospects from the last 15 days. I'll do a top 15, and I'll also get into honorable mentions and a top 5 for each league, as well as the top 15. Now, before we jump into our top 15 honorable mentions, I want to go over my ranking systems really quick. First, I have a Let's Talk Wax ranking system that ranks players 1 through 7, elite actually being the highest, but it is based on player ceiling. You also have a Juggernaut ranking system, which you can find over on my Patreon page. I update that about every 3 weeks, and it ranks every prospect in minor league baseball under the age of 24 with over 150 plate appearances. I think it comes out to about 900 to 1,000 prospects right now, and they are sorted by player or by rank over on my Patreon page. So now that we have the rankings down, let's get into the top 15. At number 15, we've got Jesus Baez, 19.3, played between low A and high A this season so far. He was recently promoted to high A. He's got solid hit power numbers. He hit .316 with 4 homers, 3 doubles, and 10 RBIs over the last 15 days. On the season, he's hitting .264 with a 187 ISO, so some solid average and some solid power numbers there. He's got one of the better K percentages on this list at 16.7, a 2.04 K to walk ratio, so he does take some walks, along with little to no strikeouts, 11 home runs and 9 stolen bases. I think the stat that sticks out most for me. He is a 19.3-year-old with 11 home runs between low A and high A, so there is some pretty decent power in that bat, and I would expect the ISO to increase as he matures physically. He also has 9 stolen bases, but the majority of those did come in low A, where they are pretty much gimmies. I always try to tell my viewers that when regarding low A baseball, the stolen bases can be a bit inflated. You know, they do tend to decrease when players get to high A, double A, and triple A, and so forth. But at the low A level, a lot of young pitchers in that level, a lot of young catchers, pitchers that kind of maybe have longer times to the plate or not really worried about holding runners or just learning how to hold runners. So stolen bases can often be inflated at that level. Jesus Baez is not a top 100 prospect as of right now. He's number 142 on the Juggernaut. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3, and he comes out of 2023 Bowman for about $20 right now. At number 14, we have Spencer Jones, one of the most interesting prospects, I think, on this list. He is a very risky player, and you're going to see what I mean as we delve further into him. He's 23.1 years old, so he's already a bit old for the prospecting community. He's playing in Double A with the New York Yankees, so his cards are going to be very highly sought after being in that organization. I do tend to notice that a lot of players out of the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers organizations do tend to fetch a little bit of a higher dollar than most other orgs. He's an outfielder hitting .327 over the last 15 with 3 homers, 5 doubles, 14 RBIs, but he also had 26 strikeouts in the last 15 days as well. And those are the 2 big blue numbers you're going to see under Spencer Jones. He has the highest K percentage in 2024 on this list at 35.4, which is quite alarming. There aren't a lot of prospects at the major league level that have gotten by with 35% K rates at the minor league level. Elly De La Cruz is probably the last prospect to have some decent success at the major league level with a higher career K percentage. He was right around 29 to 30 though. Spencer Jones is up there around 35.4. He's got the highest K percentage of any prospect on MLB.com's top 100, and his K to walk ratio is also a little fritzy at 3.46. Now, coming along with the Ks, he's got a strong he's got a strong power speed ceiling. He's at 9 home runs with 17 stolen bases in Double A this year. And, you know, like I said, he's got a very high speed power ceiling, but what you have to consider with Spencer Jones are the kind of alarming K rates that he possesses. So he's a top 100 prospect at number 65. Due to his poor K numbers and his age, he is number 549 on the Juggernaut ranking system. And like I said, if you want to scroll back earlier in the video, you can find some more information on the Juggernaut, the different stats that I use. It's also in the video description, and you can also find that on my Patreon page as well. But he's a 2.5 on the Let's Talk Wax ranking system. He's out of 2023 Bowman, and his cards are pretty expensive expensive right now, right around $130, the highest Bowman Chrome auto, base auto, raw on this list, Spencer Jones. And like I said, be very aware of the K numbers before you just look into the production numbers with him. Now, if you enjoy my content and you'd like to help support my channel, be sure to check out my Patreon page. I'll put a link to it in the video description. Over there, you can access tons of exclusive content, including Bowman autograph checklist breakdowns for every Bowman release since 2019 that include current and career stats, a brief write-up, and Let's Talk Wax ranks for all prospects on each checklist. I also have Bowman team break guides for all releases since 2020. You can get access to my Juggernaut rankings that rank each minor league player based on specific stats with files sorted by player and by rank so you can easily find prospects in your collection. I also have a top 150 Bowman Chrome autos list and a top 150 Bowman Chrome autos under $50 list that I update 3 times per year. You can also get early access to all my video content and articles. On top of that, we have a private Let's Talk Wax Discord server with nearly 400 members to keep you up to date on all prospecting news and information. If you want to check it out, click the link in my video description. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who already supports me over there as we close in on nearly 1,000 members. At number 13, we've got Jose Tena, who was recently promoted to the major leagues on June 30th, 2024. He is 23.3 years old. He played the majority of the last 15 games in AAA with the Cleveland Guardians. He's an infielder, kind of plays all over the infield, everywhere but shortstop, 359 batting average over the last 15 days, 4 homers, a double, 10 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. What you're going to notice, which is pretty odd, on this episode of Prospect Hot Sheet number 5, there's going to be a ton of Cleveland Guardians prospects. So I'm not sure if they had a huge team meeting and a hitting instructor or what that came in and maybe revamped the approach, or just kind of dumb luck that there's a lot of Cleveland Guardians prospects on this list in this episode. Jose Tena is hitting .293 on the season in AAA prior to his call-up with a 187 ISO. He's also got some fringy K numbers, a 28.3 K percentage and a 4.04 K to walk ratio. That's in bold, which means it is the highest K to walk ratio on this list. I prefer to see K to walk ratios under 2, and anything under 1 is elite, which means they take more walks than they do strikeouts. But for every walk, Jose Tena is striking out 4 times. So that is pretty high. It's an aggressive approach. There could be some chase issues in the major league level, but he's got 14 home runs and 10 stolen bases, like I said, prior to the call-up. He's graduated from all of my content because he does have more plate appearances than what I have the cutoff at. He's not a top 100 prospect. He is a 2021 Bowman card. The 2021 Bowman release, you're going to see a few guys on there from this release, and there's not a lot of depth to that release. You'll see our number 1 player is actually out of that release, and he could be probably the highest ceiling player in the 2021 Bowman release, and he's at number 1. We'll get to him in a little bit. If you already know who he is, you can pop him in the comments, and I'll be sure to give you a thumbs up if you guys can already guess who our number 1 guy is out of 2021 Bowman. But his cards are super cheap, right around $10 right now, and he's currently at the major league level. At number 12, we got Brandon Valenzuela, kind of a shocker on here. You're also going to notice in this episode, we've got a plethora of Bowman Chrome autos in the $5 range. Some of them are even below $5. For my content, I don't list a price lower than $5 because even if it's a $2 auto, by the time you pay for your $3 or $4 shipping, it's going to come out to around $5. So some of these guys have actually had auction sales lower than $5, but like I said, I cut it off at $5 because of the shipping, and I don't want to hear a bunch of flack in the comments that my comps are way off, like most people obviously do sometimes if I'm off by $1 or $2. 23.7 playing in Double-A, so another guy that's getting very close to cut off. I cut the prospect hot sheet off at 24. San Diego Padres organization. He's a catcher, hit .333 with 3 homers, 4 doubles, and 11 RBIs over the last 15. He's holding a .255 batting average with a 160 ISO, a 22.2% K percentage, and a 2.43 K to walk ratio. So just some kind of fringy numbers across the board this season for Brandon Valenzuela. He's definitely not a top 100 prospect. He's all the way down at 595 on the Juggernaut. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 6, which I think puts him in the fizzling out in the upper minors or a below average major leaguer. Ceiling, He's out of 2022 Bowman. Like I said, his cards are right around $5 right now. He's on pace for the highest home run output of his career, but he's always held kind of an average hit tool. So, like I said, kind of a shocker to see a guy like this on Prospect Hot Sheet, but get ready because you're going to see a bunch more in the next group of 6 through 10. At number 11, we've got Angel Martinez, another Cleveland Guardian who was recently promoted to the major leagues on June 28th to be exact. He's got some good utility infield upside. He had 2 hits in his last 2 MLB games, so he's off to a decent start. Kind of getting his feet wet. Not a ton of power here with Angel Martinez, but he's a guy who I did create a big stash of when 2021 Bowman first came out. He's 22.4, and across the last 15 days in AAA, he's hit 364 with 3 homers, 3 doubles, and 7 RBIs. He's got a 261 batting average. He hits from both sides of the plate. He's got just under a 200 ISO, 4 home runs, 2 stolen bases. He's got a 12.1 K percentage and a 0.81 K to walk ratio, which is one of the reasons I actually got into Angel Martinez back in 2021, being a switch hitting shortstop. He's got elite K numbers. Consider anything under 20% for a K rate good, and like I said, anything under a 2 for a K to walk ratio good, but anything sub 1 means he's taking more walks than strikeouts, which is really hard to find at the AAA level. He's not a top 100 prospect. He's graduated from my Juggernaut ranking system because he's in the major leagues right now. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3, and like I said, his cards are out of 2021 Bowman, and they're right around $20 right now. All right, that's going to lead us into our top 10, 6 through 10. Leads off with Jace Avina, 21.1, playing in high A. New York Yankees outfielder, hit 378 over the last 15 days with 3 homers, 5 doubles, 9 RBIs, and 5 walks. He's got a 289 batting average in high A right now with 8 home runs in 2024. He does have a lot of pop. He's got a career ISO of 225. He's got 8 home runs already this season. He's kind of got fringy K numbers, a 23.9% K rate and a 2.50 K to walk ratio. So what you're looking at is a guy who's starting to hit for some average and does have some power in the tank. He's a bit old for high A, playing at 21.1. I like to see players in the 19 to 20-year-old range in high A. That's kind of age level appropriate for me. But when you get into the 21, 22-year-old players in high A, it is a little high for me in my personal opinion. He's not a top 100 prospect on the Juggernaut ranking system. He's having a really good year this year, so he's number 50 in the Juggernaut ranking system. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3. He's out of 2023 Bowman, and his cards are really cheap right now at $5. And what you're going to notice in this group, all of these players have Bowman Chrome autos right at $5. Now, I'm not saying they're instant buys. I'm just saying that they are all very cheap options. I really like the next guy, Quinn McDaniel. I really like him as a $5 auto. He's probably my favorite $5 auto in this group. 21.8, playing in high A, San Francisco Giants second baseman. Hit 300 over the last 15 with 4 homers, 9 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, and 8 walks. He's hitting 255 on the year with a 144 ISO, a 30.4 K percentage, and a 1.89 K to walk ratio. He's got a little bit of power, but what I like about him is he's got a speed power ceiling, and speed power guys are very hard to find in the $5 range. Now that could be attributed to his low batting average, his high K percentage, but like I said, guys that have a speed power combo are very difficult to find around the $5 range. I think the last high speed power ceiling combo we saw around that price was Colby Thomas, but he's been playing really, really well this year. He's been on several hot sheets. I think coming into the season he was a $5 auto, but I think his stuff has jumped a little bit. So I'm always trying to find sleeper prospects with a higher speed power ceiling. He's number 9 on the Juggernaut ranking system. He's Let's Talk Wax rank of 3. And like I said, he's a cheap auto and could be a very long shot sleeper with some speed power tools out of 2023 Bowman draft. At number 8, we've got Jorge Burgos, 22.5 in high A. Another guy that's a little bit old for the level. Another Cleveland Guardian. As I mentioned before, we're gonna discuss several Cleveland Guardians over at the time on this video. 400 batting average, 4 homers, 3 doubles, 9 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases over the last 15 days. He has not been swinging the stick quite as well in the 2024 season. He's got the lowest batting average, the lowest 2024 batting average at 217. And like I sometimes forget, I never really consider that people are first-time watchers on the channel. I always kind of think that people that watch my channel are habitual offenders that come back and, have watched my videos before. But when we're looking at the hot sheet, it's very important to mention that just because they had a very solid 15-game streak or even 30-day streak, these hot streaks happen a lot in minor league baseball. They do create some small sell windows for certain players, especially like Jorge Burgos. But that does not mean they're going to be the next superstar because they performed well over a 15-day or a 30-day span. What you really have to take into account with prospecting is first season stats. What are they doing in the current year, and what have they done throughout their career? Try to stay away from small sample sizes and look to players' career stats to see if they're kind of linear with what they're doing now, or if there's a huge breach. If there's a huge breach, that often means they are going through a significant hot streak. So you can see Jorge Burgos at number 8 on the hot sheet this episode, but he's number 777 on the Juggernaut ranking system. He's the lowest ranking prospect on the Juggernaut on this list. So keep that in mind. Let's Talk Wax rank of 7 out of 23 Bowman for about $5. At number 7, we've got Cooper Kinney, 21.5, high A, Tampa Bay Rays infielder, had 4 home runs, 3 doubles, and 15 RBIs while hitting .365 over the last 2 weeks. He's currently holding a .283 batting average with a .187 ISO with some okay K numbers. He's got 6 home runs and 4 stolen bases. He gets the majority of his reps at second base and first base, so he's definitely going to have to really produce offensively. He's got a solid hit tool right now with average power, so I'm not sure how much of a ceiling he has with his defensive profile. Hopefully he continues to get the majority of his reps at second base, but like I said, if he has to transition to first base, he could be in trouble with that low defensive ceiling, and it's going to require a lot more offensive output to man a spot at first base where there's really no defense needed at all. At number 6, we've got Joe Mack, who has been a huge surprise coming into the 2024 season. I've had him on the chopping block out of 2021 draft for the last 2 years, I believe. He's performed quite poorly. He's got a .232 career batting average, but he's exploded over the last month, really. He was number 3 on Prospect Hot Sheet last week. He's got a career high 16 home runs right now in AA in 2024. He's a catcher for the Miami Marlins. 5 homers over the last 15, 3 doubles, 6 RBIs. He's got a .271 batting average with a .253 ISO. More fringy K numbers in that 25% range and the above 2 K to walk ratio. So those are kind of fringy. And all the stuff in red for me is really good. If it's in bold, it means the highest or the lowest. If it's in blue, it means bad. So like I said, I have that on the graphic here, but sometimes y'all kind of overlook that and ask me about that in the comments, but I want to clarify that for first-time viewers. I'm trying to be better for first-time viewers, like I said, and not just kind of neglect to highlight important information because I feel like everyone's seen my channel before. So Cooper Kinney, solid hit tool. Joe Mack has been explosive over the last 30 days. Career high 16 home runs. He's really blowing up right now. His cards are still at $5. I figure we may see some sort of jump, but if he continues to hit home runs at this rate, he is going to be at the top of the leaderboards, and I think his cards may increase quite a bit. So before we get into our top 5, I'm going to take you through all of our honorable mentions. I did a top 5 list through each league, and I'm going to kind of break them down a little more than I usually do. Sometimes I'll have 10 honorable mentions per league, but I cut it down to 5 so I could get into a little more detail with those 5 players. So be sure to let me know what you guys think of this new format in the comments. I did have some positive feedback on it in the Discord server. It's basically a lot more players that kind of get a little blurb. I take some notes on each guy, and I can get into a little more detail instead of just giving you a whole bunch of names. But we're going to jump into our honorable mentions. Our top 5 coming out of AAA, we're going to lead off with Kyle Manzardo, 23.9, had a big last 15 days. He struggled in his pro debut, hitting 207 with 23 strikeouts and 3 walks and no home runs, but he was good for 4 home runs over the last 15 in AAA. Jacob Wilson is back from his rehab stint and doing exactly what he normally does, plus hitting some home runs. He's hit 500 over the last 15 days. He's got an elite contact tool. He had 3 home runs. He's got 3 home runs in 2024 as of right now, and only hit 1 home run in 2023. So essentially, he's tripled his home run output from last year. But you have to consider Jacob Wilson is not going to be known for much power, but he is growing into a little bit more than I think I and maybe other collectors anticipated post-draft out of Grand Canyon University. So Jacob Wilson is probably going to turn into one of my favorite players in minor league baseball by the end of 2024. The sad thing is he does play in the Oakland A's organization, and there's not a whole lot of hobby value in that organization. I got a really nice card from a PSA from my buddy Nick that I'm looking to give away when Jacob Wilson gets called up to you guys for free over on the Patreon page. But I think his call up is going to be imminent. They're probably just going to make sure he's healthy with the issues we have with his knee, of course, rehabbing that. But the guy we just got done talking about a little bit ago, Colby Thomas, and I mentioned he was a $5 auto. His cards are back up to $25, or way up to $25. Like I said, when you have a speed power ceiling and it starts to show, people catch on quick. He's 23.4, so he's a bit old for the hobby, had a big last 15 days. He's got 15 home runs and 12 stolen bases in 2024. The only problem with Colby Thomas is a high K to walk ratio and his age, of course. At number 4, we got Jorbit Vivas, 23.3 New York Yankees. He does not have any base autos, so his refractors, his first chrome auto refractors are selling for around $25 out of 2022 Bowman Chrome. He's got a very good defensive versatility. He can pretty much play anywhere on the field. And he's got 2,000 plus minor league plate appearances, so he is a very well-seasoned veteran in the minor leagues, hit 3 home runs over the last 15 days. And finally, wrapping up AAA, on the hot list is Drew Romo, who's had an amazing season in 2023. I guess it's not amazing, but considering what he's done in the past offensively, it's one of his best offensive years so far to date since being drafted in 2020. He is also a refractor plus only, so his refractor autos are selling for about $15 out of 2020 Bowman draft. MiLB Marte has been reinstated after his 80 or 90 game suspension for PEDs. He is struggling to kind of get back into the swing of things. He's 4 for 35 with 8 Ks over his last 15. In the AA Eastern League, we've got Joe Lampe, 23.6, approaching the cutoff for prospect hot sheet. Had a home run and a couple of extra base hits. He's definitely a hit over power player. He holds a career 248 average, so this could be a little hot streak we see out of Joe. He is in AA, like I said, the highest level he's played at. So 2022 draft player, he is a $5 auto. And like I said, you're going to see quite a few $5 autos on this list. We've got Hao Yu Lee at number 2, 21.3. The Detroit Tigers second baseman had a 939 OPS. He was number 4 on the hot sheet last week, so he's continuing to play pretty well. He's got 11 home runs and 11 stolen bases so far in AA in 2024. At number 3, we got Alex Ramirez, New York Mets blast from the past, a phenomenal athlete. He has a non-first Chrome card in 2023 Bowman Chrome, and he has his first Chrome, I think, in 2021 Bowman or 2021 Bowman Chrome. Be sure to correct me in the comments, but I know his Chrome auto is a non-first out of 2023 Bowman Chrome. He's got a 242 batting average and 25 stolen bases in 2024. So like I said, a phenomenal athlete with phenomenal speed, but the hit tool's been kind of fringy over the last few years, and I think it's not quite as good as what we all anticipated him having, entering the 2021 to 2022 season. At number 4, we got Marcelo Mayer, 21.6 Boston Red Sox shortstop. He's starting to heat up quite a bit. He's had a 304 batting average with 6 home runs and 13 stolen bases in AA, with an exceptional defensive tool at shortstop. Definitely one of the top prospects in minor league baseball right now, so I'm glad to see him having some success. And at number 5, we've got Khalil Watson, a very interesting story here. He had some issues on the field with the Miami Marlins. He was traded to the Cleveland Guardians. He hasn't really done much at all since being one of the more hyped up players out of the 2022 draft class. But I think he actually was in the 2021 draft class, and his cards came out of 2022 Bowman. So I did want to make that correction. But anyway, he had a very high ceiling entering the draft. His cards, his first Chrome autos are right around $100 to $125. He's one of the biggest chases in 2022 Bowman, but struggled out of the gate, had some issues on the field. He's showing some power right now, but he's a very risky hit tool. His cards are all the way down to $10, and there's still people on our Discord server, saying, what do we still think about Khalil Watson? Is there a chance here at his age or at his price point that he could improve? So he's definitely a kid to keep an eye on. Hopefully he's matured and maybe improved his mental game and his on-field conduct and antics, but we'll see what happens with Khalil Watson. We've got Alex DeJesus on the cold list, hitting 189, 7 for 37 with a home run and a double. He's out of 2022 Bowman Chrome for $5. In the AA Southern League, we've got one of my favorite minor league players, Chandler Simpson, 23.6. I really think this kid could be a very exciting dude at the major league level. He leads all of minor league baseball in stolen bases with 54. Pretty certain, if I can remember correctly, he led all of minor leagues in stolen bases last year. And if he didn't, I think he was beat by Victor Scott, who is another major speedster. It was between the two of them, I believe, for the top seed in stolen bases in 2023. And y'all can fact check me in the comments on that one. But he's had a 387 batting average with a double and 7 stolen bases over the last 15. There's not a whole lot of power here, but it is an elite hit tool with elite K numbers and elite speed. He's got 2 elite tools, which is very hard to find with many minor leaguers today. I accidentally sold a Chandler Simpson auto. I had one on eBay for it was probably 2 years. I bought it right out of 2022 draft, and I let it sit on eBay. I forgot it was up there. He started to really get hot, and I forgot to take it down, and it sold for the buy it now with no best offer. I usually put my buy it nows pretty high, and I was upset. So as I mentioned in the last video, I may try to buy another Chandler Simpson before he gets called up, if he does, or maybe he could be trade bait because he could be an exciting player for another organization as well. Number 2, we've got James Trianos, 21.3, second base, third base. Another kid who has a very good hit tool. It's not quite as good as Chandler Simpson's. There's a little more power mixed in there. He's got a 319 batting average, 28 stolen bases, and a 10% K rate in AA. So a hit speed player there, just not quite as lethal as Chandler Simpson. He's also 2 years younger than Chandler Simpson too, so keep that in mind as well. At number 3, we've got Carlos D. Rodriguez, Milwaukee Brewers, 23.5. He is getting up there in age. He's got an advanced approach, but no juice. He's hitting 301 on the season right now. Brock Wilken missed time earlier in the year. We got hit in the face with a ball, and he's making his comeback now. 3 home runs over the last 15 days. 8 home runs with a 28% K rate in AA. So far the 2024 season. He's out of the freshly released 24 Bowman for about $40. And Edgar Quiero is going to wrap up the hot part at 21.2, Chicago White Sox. He was traded from the Los Angeles Angels. I think he was part of the Dylan Cease deal. But he is a Los Angeles Angel on his 2022 Bowman card, but he is currently with the Chicago White Sox. Contact over power mainly for his bat, but his power has grown in 2024. He's on pace to hit more home runs than he has in his entire in any other season in his career. So I don't think it's going to be very effective power at the major league level. I do think he could pop a couple of home runs here and there, but like I said, it's a very good contact tool, and he's got some skills behind the plate. And he's also a $5 auto, and I believe he's a top 100 prospect still. Jacob Marcy still struggling since being traded to the Miami Marlins. He was the 2023 AFL MVP last year, and I think he was actually on the cold list as well. Coming out of the AA Texas League, we've got Diego Cartaya, 22.8, Los Angeles Dodgers. I feel like he's been a prospect forever. He's out of 19 Bowman. So this is the oldest card we have on this list, coming out of a release that's nearly 5 years old. But he is still under the age of 25 or 24 and will be for another year. He's kind of been on a roller coaster of a season, or not necessarily a season, roller coaster of a career. He does have some pretty good power numbers. He's promoted to AAA earlier in the week, and it's been pretty rough so far. So we're going to see what happens with Cartaya. Like I said, he's just kind of been up and down, with his offensive tool throughout his career. At number 2, we've got Yener Fernandez. He is an elite contact tool. I wouldn't say maybe elite, but he's got a very good contact tool. He is a second baseman with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think he did some catching in the lower minors, but now they've got him at second base. And like I said, he's more of a contact guy. In my notes, I do have getting more reps at second base now. He's a hit over power bat, so maybe he could run into some power. That would fit a second base profile a little better at the major league level. I do know that most organizations like to have a little bit of pop at second base. Maximo Acosta goes by Max now, out of 2021 Bowman Chrome. He had a pretty hot last 15 days, but he's got average tools across the board. His greatest tool would probably be his speed. He's got several stolen bases so far in 2024. AJ Vukovich, 22.9. He flirts in and off of many hot sheets, and he's done that since about 2021. He'll pop on and pop off different hot sheets. He had 24 homers in 2023. He's got a pretty good hit power combo, but he's got career high K percentages and K to walk ratio. So the K numbers are something to watch with him. And at number 5, we got Jimmy Crooks with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's got a high floor bat, but he is mainly contact over power. Jacob Melton struggling a little bit, 23.9, the Houston Astros. He was one of my favorite prospects coming into the 2024 season. So was Kennedy Corona, and both of those guys are struggling a little bit. Not struggling, but not performing as well as I thought they would in the 2024 season. But he's on the cold list this week, over the last 15 for this episode of Hot Sheet. Moving into the High A South Atlantic League, we got Stephen Paulini. He has yet to hit above 230 at any minor league level, but he is on a major hot streak right now, and he is about to age out of my content. So be sure, if you have any Stephen Paulini cards laying around, now may be a good time to sell if they do jump to about $10. Lonnie White Jr. is a K machine with big power. He's got 11 home runs so far on the season, but he's got a 31% K rate and a 238 batting average on his career. So definitely a suspect hit tool there with some power. Rock Riggio, New York Yankees, had a big last 15 days. He's got a career 217 batting average across only 348 plate appearances. It's a small sample size in the minor leagues, but he's getting off to a bit of a hot start right now as we kind of approach the All-Star break and get going into the second half of the season. Cutter Coffee has been struggling kind of since the draft in 2022, but he's already got 12 home runs compared to his 6 that he hit in 2023, but his career batting average is sitting right around 220, so kind of a iffy hit tool there, but he could be running into some power, maybe making some adjustments and improving in High A. Mac Horvath, I did get some questions about why he wasn't on last episode of Hot Sheet number 4, but he is going to make it this week as an honorable mention. He's got no base autos. He's got 7 home runs and 21 stolen bases in High A, so a bit of a speed power look there for Mac Horvath. Miguel Bleis, he was a high-profile player out of 2021 Bowman Chrome. He was recently promoted to High A, so this is kind of an adjustment period for him. I wouldn't freak out if you're a person that's holding on to a ton of Bleis, but he's struggling since his promotion to High A, but he's only 20.4, and sometimes that adjustment period lasts longer for other players than it does for some. In the Midwest League, we've got Jauder Arianamo, 20.5. Milwaukee Brewers, he's a second base / shortstop. He's got plus speed, a 305 batting average, 25 stolen bases. The only problem is he's got kind of iffy fringe power right now. He's out of 2024 Bowman, and his cards are right around $5, and that could be due to, like I said, he doesn't have a whole lot of power, but he's hitting 305 with 25 stolen bases on the season so far. Number 2, we've got Max Anderson. His power numbers are growing. He's a solid bat, but he does have some elevated K to walk ratios across his career out of 2023 Bowman draft. Cooper Ingle has a .320 career batting average with excellent K numbers at 22.3-year-old in the Cleveland Guardians organization. He is a catcher. Number 4, we've got Angel Gano, and he was on hot sheet number 3 or 4. I think he was in the top 15, so he's been playing pretty well in the 2024 season. It's the best season of his career so far. He's growing into some power, and he's got a career high batting average of .291 right now, 20.2 playing in high A. Hector Rodriguez, we talked a lot about him in 2023. He's 20.3 years old, Cincinnati Reds outfield prospect, had 2 home runs. He's got a .297 batting average so far this year with 7 homers and 9 stolen bases in high A at a, I guess I would say it's sort of an aggressive assignment for him at 20.3, but like I said, 19 to 20 is probably where I'd like a player to be in high A. So it's not that aggressive at 20.3 if it was 19.3. If it was sort of like a Josue DePaula look, I would be a little more impressed. You're going to hear about him in a little bit. Jay Allen struggling. He was off to a hot start. He had 9 home runs and 19 stolen bases going into this hot sheet, but he's hit a .143 in the month of June. In the Northwest League, we've got Josh Hood, 23.9. He is approaching the cutoff for prospect hot sheet. He's a solid player, but no real elite tools, and he's a bit old for high A. Lazaro Montes, he's actually struggled since his promotion to high A, but he did do pretty well while he was still in low A. Had a home run, a triple, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs. Him and Michael Arroyo were both promoted to high A recently. 19.7 for Arroyo. They're the same age. Arroyo is a 2023 Bowman card at a $20 auto, and Lazaro Montes has kind of exploded. He was the highest selling by volume card last week based on my card hedge data that I do put out every week. I put the highest sales by volume player. I just put out the Kenzie Noel card, and he was the highest selling by volume player over the past 7 days. But Montez was before him, extremely hot in low A prior to the call-up. So hopefully he'll get his wheels going in high A. Peyton Williams, 23.8, Toronto Blue Jays. There's not a whole lot going on here. He's got low defensive upside and average power at first base. So he's going to have to really improve his bat and jump through the minor leagues at a very fast rate to get any hobby traction. Alexander Suarez, kind of the same boat, 258 career batting average with a 161 ISO, and he hasn't really been challenged aggressively with his assignments. San Francisco Giants outfielder, had 2 home runs. Adrian Placencia has been on the hot sheet several times. He was in high A in 2022. He was in high A in 2023 for a bit, I believe. He got sent back down to low A because he struggled so bad in 2023, and he got back up to high A again where he's struggling. So it almost seems like Placencia can't figure out anything above high A right now, or high A for that matter. Kicking off the low A Carolina League is Alfonso Rosario, 20 years old, Chicago Cubs outfielder, had 3 homers, 2 triples, and 8 RBIs. He's currently hitting .237 though with a 34.8% K rate, so it could be a bit of a hot streak for Alfonso. Tommy Hawk, 21.9, Cleveland Guardians. He has more gap-to-gap power and speed. He's got a career batting average of .274, and he's a bit old for his level, but he was out of 2023 Bowman draft, so he's only playing his first full season, technically, of minor league baseball. George Wolko, a huge power ceiling. He's 18.5. He's got big juice, but he also has some big swing and miss tendencies. He hit 3 home runs over the last 15, but he's striking out at a 43% rate so far in 2024. Chase Jaworski, 19.9, Houston Astros. He's got a paper auto only out of retail Bowman, a 224 batting average with 3 home runs and 22 stolen bases. So it's looking like speed is his highest grading tool. And wrapping up the low A Carolina, they've got Brooks Brannon. He's got a first chrome only, no autos yet. He hits for some average, but there is some swing and miss there as well. Christian Vaquero looks like he could be becoming more and more of a bust as his career goes on, kind of like Carlos Colmenares and some of those guys. You're going to see Roderick Arias on the cold sheet as well. They were two of the high-profile Chrome autos out of 2022 Bowman Chrome in that international class. He's got a 37% K rate and only hitting a .153 on the season at 19.8 in low A. The Florida State League in low A, we've got 22.7-year-old Chase Davis, a bit old for the level, but the power numbers are up, but he's still holding a career .224 batting average. Jordan Vyers made the hot sheet. He was number 10 on the last episode. His card's bumped up from $5 to $15 because he's hit a bunch of home runs. Devin Saltaban, 19.4. He's one of my sleeper picks, I feel like, out of the 2023 draft class. He's young, he's got some juice. He's only hitting .221 so far in 2024, but he's only got a $5 auto, so maybe a guy to keep an eye on there. Ronald Hernandez, 20.7 New York Mets. He's having the best season of his career, albeit his age and level. Yerlin Confinon has got a growing power, but his hit tool is way below average. He was another guy out of 2022 Bowman Chrome that I thought would have a little better of a career than he's had so far. And as I mentioned before, Roderick Arias is also on the ice cold list. I do think he's got a higher ceiling than Christian Vaquero. He's got a very good speed power ceiling, but he's a very risky hit tool right now with a 35% K rate in low A at 19.8. In the low A California League, we got Nick Vaught, 23.9. He is a bit old for low A, but he did play very well, hitting 3 home runs with 7 RBIs. He was recently promoted to high A. He's got elevated K rates, and like I said, he's a bit old for level. Josue De Paula could be one of the big up-and-coming prospects in the next few years. He's got a lot of, he makes a lot of loud contact. He hit for a ton of average over the last 15. He was recently promoted to high A. 6 home runs, 14 stolen bases in low A prior to the call-up. Or not the call-up, but the promotion, and he's got a .297 career batting average, so definitely a kid to watch in the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. Jesus Galiz, 20.6, Los Angeles Dodgers. We're going to go over 3 Dodgers here in a row. He's a low A repeater with a fringy bat, a career .252 batting average, so could be a little bit of a hot streak here for Jesus. Kendall George is a bat that I like. He's got an exceptional hit speed tool, just no juice. He's not quite as, the hit tool and the speed tool aren't quite Chandler Simpson-esque, but that's kind of the profile you're getting, but it's just not quite as good as what Chandler Simpson brings to the table. Ty Pete could be sneaky good one day at 18.9. He's got a nice speed hit tool with a power-dependent ceiling. I think how much power he runs into over the next 3 years is going to determine his ceiling, but there's a lot of very good up-and-coming prospects in that Seattle Mariners organization. Definitely an organization to check out. If you're a Seattle Mariners fan, you could have some very nice times ahead of you. Drew Jones is ice cold, but he's really not. He was just the only big name I could find in the California League who wasn't performing exceptionally well. He only hit .244, and if that's a cold streak, it's really not that bad. But like I said, I try to find recognizable names for the ice cold list, and Drew Jones was the only one that 90% of the people that watch this video will know who he is. But like I said, it really hasn't been all that terrible. His cards are right around $75 right now. To wrap up our honorable mentions with the Complex League and DSL, Eric Batanti, 18.8 out of 2023 Bowman draft. He's a Complex League repeater with a 314 batting average and 6 home runs in 2024 so far. So he is off to a very good start in the front half of the year at 18.8. I would like to see him get a promotion and see what he's capable of at low A. Another guy to probably watch. He's out of 2023 Bowman draft for about $15. Felman Celestin, 18.8. This guy is at the very top of many prospectors' charts. He's got some very good tools, an extremely high ceiling. He's got a .342 batting average and a .219 ISO right now. I would definitely look for him to receive some sort of promotion by the end of the 2024 season. Yasser Mercedes making a comeback. He played well in 2022 and is playing well this year. 2023 was a very rough year for him. A lot of people that were into Yasser Mercedes jumped off the bandwagon in 2023, including myself, but I'm glad to see him coming back in 2024 so far. He's only 19.6, so plenty of time to figure it out. Kevin Hidalgo out of 2024 Bowman and Robert Calais, they are both out of the fresh I have Robert Calais wrong here. I'm going to edit that while we are in recording. He is a 2024 Bowman. I had him in 2023 Chrome, and that was wrong. But 2 players from the Colorado Rockies organization. I think Calais has the higher ceiling here. Lots of tools there. I'd definitely keep your eyes on him. And Hidalgo right now is just a cheap buy. I think Calais autos are right around $35 right now. Hidalgo is right around $5. So Hidalgo the cheaper buy, but Calais much higher ceiling. And Manuel Bonilla struggling right now. There's lots of swing and miss with a 7.42 K to walk ratio on the season. That's going to bring us to our top 5, the most exciting part of the episode. Leading us off is CJ Kayfa's 22.7 between AA and high A so far this year. He's hitting .336 with a 271 ISO. Crazy numbers. He had 5 home runs over the last 15 days with 13 RBIs. Kayfa's can swing it, but he's got very low defensive upside, and that could be the big issue with him. He flip-flops between first base and left field right now. But based on what he's doing in the 2024 season, that offensive profile would fit at first base and left field. He's got a 20.8 K percentage, a 1.67 K to walk ratio, 13 home runs. He's not a top 100 prospect right now, but he is climbing the ladder on the Juggernaut at 119. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 2.5, which could increase if he continues to perform offensively in the second half like he's done in the first half, and his cards are right around $40 right now. At number 4, we've got Matt Shaw, one of the highest profile prospects out of the 2023 draft class. Hasn't really done much in the front half of the season after destroying the minor leagues post-draft in that short season, but in his first full season, he's kind of struggled out of the gate. But he had 357 batting average, 8 home runs, and 15 stolen bases in that short season post-draft. This year you can see he's got his average up to 251 with a 177 ISO. Some pretty good K numbers. He just missed the red at 20.2 K percentage and a 1.47 K to walk ratio. 10 homers, 19 stolen bases in AA. So it does look like Shaw is coming to life, hopefully. He's number 40 in MLB.com's top 100. He is number 180 on the Juggernaut, and I do have him as a Let's Talk Wax rank of 1 due to his just his profile. I like what he did at Maryland. I think he is going to perform much better in the back half than they did in the front half. So definitely got to watch Matt Shaw, and he's still pretty cheap at $50. At number 3, I don't know why I'm discussing Davison De Los Santos anymore. It's just kind of become like a habit now that he's on the top 15 in Hot Sheet. He has 25 home runs. I believe that's number 1 in minor league. In all of minor league baseball, he is leading in home runs right now. He does have 33 strikeouts and only 8 walks in AAA. Over the last 15 games, he's had 16 strikeouts and 1 walk. The big issue with De Los Santos could be the lack of approach. Maybe he's a little too aggressive. He's always held high K to walk ratios, but they've really been exacerbated at the AAA level and over the last 15 days. But he's still continuing to hit home runs, hitting .346 with 332 ISO. Those are kind of like 2022 Kyle Manzardo numbers right there. So definitely a special season for Davison De Los Santos. I'm not going to go into much depth with him because we've talked about him for the last 5 weeks. At number 2, we've got Brooks Lee, who's got a very high floor bat, but it looks like he could be increasing his ceiling. He's hitting .353 on the season with a 218 ISO, the highest batting average, the highest 2024 season batting average on the list, the lowest K percentage on this list with a 1.3 K to walk ratio. I definitely think Brooks Lee has a very high floor. He's a very low risk player. I really just think that his ceiling is going to be dependent on how much power he runs into. He missed some time with a back injury. From what I've read, it's a herniated disc that's kind of bothered him since college. He's kind of dealt with the issue for years now, but 5 home runs over the last 15 days of 14 RBIs, playing in AAA with the Minnesota Twins organization. At number 1, we've got another high-profile bat. He and James Wood, I would say, were probably 2 of the highest profile bats in minor league baseball if we're looking at bat only, just because of their ability to hit for average and power. I still think that James Wood has a higher ceiling due to just a little more athleticism, but Kobe Mayo can play between third base and first base. A special bat. He's number 64 in the Juggernaut ranking system. Like I said, 317 average and 357 ISO, the highest on this list. 20 home runs. He did miss a bit of time this year, but he's number 18 in the top 100. He's number 64 in the Juggernaut ranking system. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 1. And I do think, like I said, he's good. He's the guy I talked about out of 2021 Bowman that I think has the highest ceiling out of that release. His cards are right around $110 right now. Now, if you guys enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I want to give a quick shout out to all my Patreon level 3 sponsors. You guys rock. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe again. Y'all have a great day.